No way. They're going somewhere.
What the Demigorgon has happened to the cast of Stranger Things in Season 3? They've changed so much since the first season, but there's one character who has literally become unrecognizable. Watch until the end to find out just who we're talking about.
Wow, she looks pretty.
Steve Harrington. Okay, we'll admit it. We totally hated Steve Harrington in the first season. He was a self-centered jerk who made our Nancy cry. Yes, of course, he has the best hair on television since Farrah Fawcett, but that's not the point. This guy was a total dirtbag at the beginning of Season 1.
It's okay. Here you go, man.
That's what makes his transformation so compelling. He went from heartbreaker to heartthrob before our very eyes. His change began toward the end of Season 1, when he joined forces with Nancy to fight the Demigorgon, and he just kept getting sweeter and sweeter after that. In Season 2, Steve took on more of a big brother role to Dustin Henderson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this'll do.
He gave everything he had to save Will Byers from the terrors of the Mind Flayer, and he even used himself as bait to lead the Demigorgons out of hiding. Now, in Season 3, it looks like he's got some growing up to do. He still engages in imaginary sword fights with Dustin, all while wearing that adorable sailor hat over his perfectly coiffed hair. After watching the trailer, we're not sure Steve's going to make it through all of Season 3, but because of his transformation from rotten to sweet, we're hoping he survives. Nancy Wheeler. In Season 1, Nancy started out the way all girls start out in horror movies. She was the typical character who gets corrupted by a bad boy and makes terrible choices.
We're gonna have a great time.
He just wants to get in your pants.
Her friend, who was the only one with common sense, tried to warn her. Sadly, we know where that got her. Hashtag justice for Barb. Usually the corrupted ones are the first to go in a horror flick, but the Duffer Brothers turned this trope upside down. Barb was the one who met her unfortunate demise thanks to the Demigorgon. Meanwhile, Nancy was safer with her bad choices upstairs. But it was Barb's disappearance that turned Nancy into a fighter. In fact, you might say that Nancy was the pioneer for the Justice for Barb campaign. She went on a revenge rampage to make sure that Demigorgon paid for what he did to her bestie. And by the end of Season 2, Nancy was a gun-toting, Demigorgon-punishing warrior. We don't know much about Nancy's role in Season 3, but we can't wait to see what she does next. Jim Hopper. Jim Hopper started the series as a down-on-his-luck, depressed, apathetic cop who lost his daughter and subsequently his sense of purpose.
One at a damn time.
However, his sense of purpose was restored when he got involved in solving the mystery of Will's disappearance. He went from being childless and hopeless in the first season to becoming the town hero, a great friend to Will's mom Joyce, and the adopted father of 11 in Season 2. In fact, he seems to be the only one who can win in a power struggle with this spirited mighty girl. From what we've seen in the Season 3 trailer, Hopper's job is far from over. After looking at those rats and that scary monster in the trailer, let's hope Hopper's been training since the last season because he's gonna need all of his strength to beat that thing. Will Byers. Poor Will has not had an easy go since the beginning of the series. He's been captured and brought to the Upside Down. He got rescued, only to have his body taken over by the Mind Flayer.
Will! Sweetie, wake up! It's Mom!
He's been tormented and tortured for 2 seasons. But with all those terrible circumstances, he still managed to evolve into a more empowered character. He learned how to stand up for himself against that ginormous creature in Season 2, and even after all those traumatic events he had to endure, he still went to the school dance. He didn't let it stop him from slow dancing with a girl. Sure, she called him Zombie Boy, but she's way cuter than the Demigorgon. Lucas Sinclair. In Season 1, Lucas was the voice of reason in the gang.
Take your puny whole and multiply it by 5.
He was naturally skeptical of 11 and all the strange things that were happening in Hawkins. He was also the one who insisted that the boys keep their bond strong. In Season 2, he settled into more of a leadership role, and he also met Max.
You're nothing like your brother, okay? You're cool and different.
He even worked up the courage to ask her to dance. He's come a long way from being that dude who started out completely skeptical of girls and outsiders. Mike Wheeler. Mike was the original leader of the group. He was the first to stand up to injustice, or to grab his trusty walkie-talkie to lead his friends on a quest to find Will. He took care of 11 in the sweetest way in season 1.
Maybe we can call you L, short for 11.
When he thought he lost 11 at the end of the first season, oh, he changed. He got a lot darker and more broody. Thankfully, his friends stepped in to help him through that hard period. By the end of season 2, he had his groove back, and he was feeling confident enough to dance with 11 at the snowball. We're not sure if he'll be in the leader's seat for season 3, but with his friends by his side, we're sure he can handle anything that's on the horizon. 11. 11 started out as a scared little Eggo-loving girl who was being manipulated by a man she called Papa. She escaped from the lab and became friends with Mike.
Mike,
Yeah?
friends don't lie.
That friendship changed everything for her. She went from being a timid, reclusive child to a confident, strong, formidable hero with incredible control over her powers. 11 saved the day at the end of the first season, and she went on to become Hopper's adopted daughter. And yes, she went through a punky, rebellious phase, as many teenagers do, but she went back to her pseudo-family at the end of season 2. We've seen 11 take her powers to the max at the end of season 2. And from the season 3 trailer, we know that she can use her powers to play a good surprise party prank on Dustin by making his toys move. And we see her going to the mall and listening to music like a normal teenage kid. But how will her powers stack up against the scary monsters in Stranger Things 3? And which will be harder for her to overcome, the upside down or the adolescent years? Tell us what you think in the comments, and be sure to tell us who your favorite character is while you're at it. Give this video a big thumbs up if you love Stranger Things, and subscribe to The Things for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later.